I was wrong about Where Winds Meet, because in one of my last videos I said that the sandbox of the game is not complex enough. Well, let me tell you, I have spent a lot of time with Where Winds Meet content over the last weeks, and I was also fortunate enough to get access to the game early, thanks to Everstone Studios, thank you very much. And I didn't expect the sandbox features of the MMO section of the game to be that deep. I mean, to be precise, we are still not talking about Age of Wushu levels of deep, but it's getting close, and even closer. But if you don't know what Where Winds Meet even is, you are at the wrong place right now. You should check out one of my videos that I already made about the game. You can find the links in the video description, and you should do that. It's a great game. But in today's video, we are going to talk about the social sandbox features that are in the game. So we are going to talk about guilds, we're going to talk about sects, which are technically the schools in the game. We're going to talk about hero bonds and intimacy. We are going to talk about Sworn Brotherhoods, and we are also going to talk about discipleships. So if you want to know what's going on with all of that and you want to find the right sect for you and stuff like that, keep watching. But keep in mind, everything that I'm going to talk about today is just a very small portion of the game. The game is actually a hybrid MMO with also a solo mode and lots of action combat, lots of world bosses, and just so much content. It's impossible to do a single video about it, so this is why I'm doing so many different kinds of videos. But now let's jump right in. So the first social sandbox feature that is in the game is the guild function. So you can basically create a guild with your friends or whatever, your clan, something like that, and the guild can hold up to 100 guild members. And if you create a guild, you are going to start by picking a path for your guild, which essentially determines the bonuses that you get for certain content types. But keep in mind, every guild and every guild member can participate in all of the content, so you're not locked out for anything. You just get bonuses for certain types of content, and you also boost the guild progression if you do these types of content. So let's talk about the three types, and the first type is the Blade Sworn Gang. And this is basically the path for guilds with players that will mostly focus on the combat side of things, so PvE and PvP. The first bonus that you will get is if you run PvE dungeon challenges with your guild members, and the second bonus you will get is for participating in guild battles, which I'm going to talk about later. But it's basically territory war against other guilds. The second type that you can choose for your guild is the Changli Pavilion. Changli Pavilion. And it's a leisure type of game, which means that it's a path for guilds that want to enjoy trading and want to enjoy spending time with other guild members. So the first bonus is for all the social content that you can do inside a guild, which means a card tournament, which means song and dance performances, host themed banquets and stuff like that. And the second bonus is that you are able to check market good prices from other guild members, which helps you to participate in the trading feature of the game more effectively, because there is a trading feature. You can buy goods in a city and you can sell it in another city and stuff like that. So that will help you with that. And the third type of guild is called the Far Shore Hall. Jesus. It's called the Far Shore Hall. Who came up with these names? And it's an exploration type of guild. So this is the path for guilds with members that mostly want to focus on the solo mode and just the exploration of the game, which means that you are getting a bonus for just doing solo mode exploration. And the second bonus is if you help another player from your guild by basically joining them as a co-op player in their own world and facing powerful enemies together. Again, keep in mind, it doesn't matter which type of guild you join or pick. You are not locked out from any content. You can do everything, so you can still do card tournaments and stuff like that. It just makes sense that if you know you mostly have PvP focused players, you should choose the combat option, because every time they do PvP, the guild gets a bigger amount of points to level up. So besides these types, there is just a lot of stuff that you can do in a guild. First of all, you can participate in guild wars, which are basically a 30 versus 30 kind of complex PvP mode. It also kind of functions like a MOBA kind of mode, because you have to push lanes and you have to destroy towers, and your ultimate goal is to reach the enemy based. And you'll even have some players that will have special roles that will manage resources and activate certain upgrades that makes lane pushing easier and stuff like that. So it's a very complex mode, but you will need 30 players for that. So keep in mind that being in a very small guild will probably not allow you to participate in that kind of content. Besides that, you can run like social events in your guild, like card tournaments, you can host banquets, you can have song and dance performances. And I'm not sure if this is going to be available on release, but I also know that you can run PvP and PvE tournaments. So an internal PvP tournament means that you have an arena in your guild hub and everyone can sit around it, and 2 players will always be faced against each other while the rest of the guild watches, and you're going to have a tournament like that. And PvE tournament means that you can actually pick a boss and everyone is going to 1v1 that boss and try to speedrun it while all the other players are watching. And I think that's a great thing to do. We are going to do that in our guild by basically just running internal tournaments frequently, and we will give guild ranks to those who did the best PvP and PvE performance combined. And for all of that, like all of the content, you have the guild hub, which is a huge area just for your guild. So you have a building, which is kind of your guild base, where you can bathe, where you can chill, play cards, whatever. And in front of that, you have an arena where you can just do sparrings or host the tournaments. And interestingly, there is a lot of space in that guild hub. And right now, this is not really used for anything. But some people say that in the Chinese version, they are working on the function that allows guild members to use the building function, which is in the game, to actually build inside that area. So maybe you can give plots inside the guild town to your guild members and they can build stuff there. I think that would be very, very cool. And as I already said, I'm going to start a guild for the European region. So if you are from the EU and you are looking for a guild, check out my Discord server. I would love to have you in my guild. Let's talk about the next social sandbox feature, which is sects, or basically schools. Some call it schools, but it's officially called sects. So I will just keep calling it sects. It's important to say that joining a sect in the game is optional, but it comes with a lot of benefits. And honestly, way more gameplay elements than I initially thought. In my last video, I said that there's nothing to sects, but I was completely wrong. And as I said, it's optional, so you can stay sectless, but if you stay sectless, you will have some disadvantages. And one thing that you will notice right away is that every sect comes with a specific martial arts style, which means that if you join the sect, you will unlock the martial arts style if you don't have it already. But keep in mind, you can just unlock everything without ever joining a sect. But it actually helps progressing that certain martial arts set faster. It's basically lowering the costs to upgrade that certain style. So when choosing the sect, you should keep that in mind. But besides that, each sect comes with a specific gameplay element and specific rules and visions that you will have to obey. And if you do that and you follow the rules and you participate in the gameplay segments, you can rank up within your sect, which unlocks more cosmetics, more titles, more emotes, and more benefits that you can use. And you can even participate in the voting to become the sect leader, which is someone who even unlocks a certain skill that buffs all of the sect members around him. What's also important to note is that joining a sect is not permanent, so you can always betray your sect and just join another one, which ultimately means that you will lose the progress that you made and you will lose the access to the shop of that specific sect, but you will keep the cosmetics. And another thing that I want to mention is that it's not important to be in the same sect than your Brotherhood members or guild members. And joining a sect is not really straightforward, but I'm not going to spoil you how you do it because it's kind of part of the fun to find it out for yourself. So next up, I'm going to list all the available sects and what I know about the rules so far and the benefits, but please keep in mind that we do not really know if these sects are all going to be there on release, and I'm also missing some information, so I'm going to make a separate video on that topic after release, but this is a work in progress list, so please keep that in mind. The first one that is available is the Well of Heaven. They are basically the Robin Hood faction of the Wuxia world, and they rob the rich to aid the poor. And they also value righteousness above gold and do not obey laws. And there are two major rules. The first one is that your weekly earnings should not be excessive. There is a limit. I'm not sure what the limit is going to be, but you shouldn't exceed this limit of your weekly earnings. Otherwise, you are going to lose points. And the second one is that you are not allowed to duel your own sect members. One of the benefits is that you can buy red packages and you can send them to the chat, which is basically an item that everyone in the chat can just click and open and they receive gold. And the main martial arts style of that sect is the Thunder Cry Blade. The next available sect is the Silver Needle. It's also called Jade Current in some videos, so I'm not sure what the final name is going to be. And this one is the main sect for those who main healer. And your rule is to heal those in need, but also to get paid for it. And if you don't know it, you can actually become sick or injured in the game permanently, and you have to find someone to heal you. You can do that by going to an NPC, but I can tell you this can become very expensive. Or you could do that by using the world chat and searching for a healer. And the main task of members of this sect is to heal 10 players a week. Otherwise, they will lose points, so they will desperately search for people with permanent injuries. So finding a healer should not be hard. One of the benefits is that they have access to a lot of herbs and special healing items, and they can also craft the best healing potions in the game. And they specialize in both fan martial arts styles, which is the Panacea fan and the Inkwell fan. The next available sect is the Raging Tides. They are basically a spear-wielding sect which is all about fighting and drinking. So the mechanic is you basically have to be drunk. And if you are drunk, you receive a buff. And if you are not drunk, you will receive a debuff. So if you join that sect, keep in mind that you should always try to be drunk, especially if you're fighting. That's all I know about them so far, so I can't really share more information, but that is what I know about the Raging Tides. Next up, we have the Midnight Blades. And this is the PvP focused sect with an assassin fantasy kind of. Defeating other players grants karma points, and being defeated by other players deducts karma points. And your main rule is basically to just not spare alive, but stay alive, especially in bounty hunting and arena combat and stuff like that. And your goal is to have a high karma level that you got by killing as many players as possible without dying. And there's a special mechanic as far as I know, because in order to claim a higher rank in this sect, you will have to kill another player from your own sect with the higher rank to claim this rank. So I think that's a pretty interesting one. And the main martial arts style of that sect is the Twin Blade DPS style, which is called Infernal Twin Blades. Next up, we have the 9 Mortal Ways. This is basically a sect for all the tricksters and the scammers, because you will have multiple tools and ways to trick other players in the game when you are in this sect. For example, you can dress up as another sect member and you can try to lure other people into your sect. And if you remember, I just spoke about these red packages that you can send to the chat and people can click it and get money. Well, you can send fake red packages to the chat, and if people click on it, they will lose money. So basically your goal or your rule is to not be caught. If you scam someone successfully, you will get points, and if you are caught scamming someone, you will lose points. And if you are going to jail, you are losing way more points. And their main martial arts style is the Mortal Rope Dart, based on the rope dart weapon. As a next school, we have the Floral Reverie. So I don't know too much about this sect, but I think its main purpose is to have multiple relationships. So your goal is to be married to multiple players, and every time you get married to another person, the other ones are being notified. And if they break up with you, you lose a lot of points. So if you love social intrigue and toxic love behavior, and you're like an extrovert Casanova, you should play this sect, I guess. Next up, we have the Hollow Vale. This sect is based on the balance between life and death. So it is a healer's sect, but with a dark twist. Because for every life healed, you will have to use poison once. Breaking this rule will inflict self-harm. So this is the perfect sect for all of the players that just want to experience the dark side of healing. The main martial arts style of this sect is the healing version of the umbrella, which is the Soul Shade umbrella. The next available sect is the Inkbound Order. And that's another one that I don't really know much about. I can just say that it's a sect for scholars and those who want to play like attorneys. All the game really tells me is that their word is the law for everyone under heaven. I don't know what that means, but I think that your job is to talk people out of like wanted statuses in the game. So if they have a wanted status, you can talk to the NPC that like gave the bounty and you can try to talk people out of that. But I'm not sure if this is the gameplay element of that sect, so we will see. Next up, we have the Lone Cloud Sects, which is the sect for intellectuals and puzzle solvers and also romantics. In order to join the Lone Cloud, you will have to pass a math and logical test. And I think that their main mechanic is just solving stuff and solving riddles, but they also have a main rule, which is loyalty, which means you should stay loyal to your married partner in the game because breaking up with them deducts a lot of points and also means that you are not allowed to marry for a long time period. I think it was 6 months. 6 months or something like that. And the last available school is called Mohist Hill, and I gotta admit that I don't know anything about them. The only thing that I can say is that the game tells me that this sect is about giving benefit to others and receiving benefits in return. So I don't know much more, honestly. And their leader is a bird, or like a mechanical bird. I don't know. So these are all the sects that I know about. I don't know if all of them will be available on release. They all come with lots of benefits, a specific shop, and also cosmetics, depending on their rank, which I think is pretty cool. But you can also just decide to stay sectless. And if you do that, you basically have no rules that you will have to obey. But that also means that your learning costs for martial arts styles will be increased. So keep that in mind. But that is not all when it comes to social features in the game. So let's talk about the next one, which is called the hero bond. Because friendships in the game can ultimately be turned into bonds. As in every game with multiplayer aspects, you can add friends, you can spend time with them, and this will actually increase your intimacy level with your friends, giving you access to certain benefits and also bonds. So if your intimacy level reaches level 2, you can form a bond. And for every other level, you will receive certain benefits. And if your intimacy level is at max, you can actually even marry, which comes with more benefits, cosmetics, titles, romantic emotes and stuff like that. But let's say you don't know anyone and you are just by yourself. The game actually has a dating tree. So you can search for a bond by leaving a red leaf on the wishing tree of fate. So you can just put a message on the leaf and you can leave it there. And you can collect other leaves that other players left, which means that you can just get to know them. And you can become friends, increase your intimacy level, and ultimately form a bond or even marry. Another feature in the game is the Sworn Brotherhood, which ultimately means friends are turning into brothers or sisters. And you can create a brotherhood with up to 9 other players. And you can even do a sworn oath ceremony at a shrine to deepen that bond. And within a brotherhood, you can complete activities together to increase the level of your brotherhood, which will unlock certain cosmetics, certain emotes, certain titles and stuff like that. And being in a brotherhood means that you trust these players, so you get messages when they come online and they can join your solo world, I think, without even asking. And I heard that they could even share cosmetics for a certain amount of time. And the Sworn Brotherhood is actually important for some types of content in the game, for example, jailbreaks. So as I've already said, there is a wanted system in the game. So if you do bad things like killing NPCs, breaking stuff, you can go to jail. Now, depending on how high your wanted status was and how often you have escaped authorities, your jail time can become very, very long, often even days. Now you can do labor work to decrease that time, and you can buy your way out, which is very expensive, or you could ask your brotherhood to actually try to jailbreak and free you out of jail. But that means that other players in the MMO mode will receive a notification and they will receive rewards if they try to stop that jailbreak. So that ultimately means that your brotherhood has to fight a lot of player guards to get you out of jail, which is crazy. I love it. And last up, we also have a system called Discipleship. So what does that mean? You can have a master in the game, and you can also have 5 disciples, which means you are a master, obviously. This will impact both PvE and MMO modes. I don't really know how much and how. I'm missing some information, but I think you will get buffs if you fight alongside your master. But it seems that you can even summon AI versions of your master or your disciples to help you with world bosses, for example. And you will obviously also unlock different cosmetics, titles, emotes and stuff like that. So I also think that that's a very interesting feature. All right, but that is everything that we know so far about the social sandbox features of the game. But I gotta admit that I feel like I'm only scratching the surface of the game. Because every time I watch a new video, I just hear something about the game that I've never heard before. So there is just so much stuff in Where Winds Meet. It's crazy. So you can be sure that this is just a very brief introduction to some of the game features. The Chinese version has been released for 1 year already, so there is so much content out in China already that we are going to get afterwards, and let me tell you, the devs are cooking. But what do you think? Do you think that all of this sounds extremely interesting to you, or do you not really care about the social features and you just want to play the solo mode? Please share your opinion in the comment section below. And again, if you are from Europe and you are searching for a guild, please join my Discord server. We are searching for guild members from all over Europe, so just say hi. And just another thing, I'm thinking about streaming the game on YouTube. If you see me streaming, just come say hi, maybe. And if you want to support this channel, you can just leave a sub and leave a like. That would really help me. So I'm working on multiple videos about Where Winds Meet that are going to release over the next couple days. And one of these videos is stuff that you need to know when you start playing the game, or stuff that I wish I knew before I started playing the beta. So if the video is already released, you will find it here. Just click on it. You should find a great video with some great tips that may help you to have a smooth start into the game. And if you don't have the time, thank you for watching this video. I see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.